Hello, my friends, it's Johnaroth, and today we are looking at another Tarkir Dragonstorm commander. One that cares about damage. Fast damage. We look at Neriv, Heart of the Storm. Neriv is a 4-mana, 1 red, white, and black mana source, flying 4/5 dragon, who says that if a creature you control that entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice that amount of damage instead. So any creature that hits on the same turn it came out, such as creatures with haste or creatures that we give haste to, they're going to deal twice that amount of the damage possible. So you can basically get creatures out, and if you hit your opponent, you can win the game out of nowhere. So there are a lot of creatures in this deck that have haste, such as the new card Mardu Siegebreaker from Tarkir Dragonstorm, Aurelia, who has haste and can give bonuses for as many creatures as are attacking, the classic Goldspan Dragon, which has haste and creates treasure tokens. At the top end, we have several cards that have haste that are huge and powerful, like Velomachus Lorehold or Aurelia the War Leader. So we do have some really strong top-end cards, but this deck is really focusing on swinging in over-the-top ways with a lot of flying creatures to deal double the damage, or cards that we are going to give haste or trample to, things of that effect. For example, Urabrask Forge is really good in this deck. It creates a 1/1 that has haste, but then it's a 2/1 and a 3/1, and it gets stronger every single turn. And all of those have haste as well as trample. We also have ways to give the haste effect like Swiftfoot Boots, Goro Goro, Rising of the Day, all those types of cards to ensure that even Neriv can come in and swing on his opening turn. So this is a very fast, aggressive, damage-filled deck. So let's take Neriv into the queue and see if we can deal some damage. Some fast damage. Let's go. Okay, our very first game is against Kotus, the Fangkeeper. I actually made a video about Kotus recently. This hand is a little slow. If we get another land, we'll be in decent shape. But I just don't know if we're going to get there. I'm going to mulligan. Okay. I'm going to try this. I don't know how good this is going to be. But we do have a turn 1 Esper Sentinel, which is a plus. Let's put the Godless Shrine onto the battlefield and cast our Esper Sentinel. Got a Black Cleave Cliffs. We're going to attack. Hit him for 1. This deck doesn't have a ton of ways of exiling cards, so that's why it's going to be somewhat problematic. Good card. I have that in my Kotus deck as well. We're going to summon Lalia, and attack with both. Fortunately, we can't use the Dark Ritual. A Scythe Cat Cub. Okay, we're going to draw another card. Yeah, if I were him, I would have gotten rid of the Edict too. Let's hit the Scythe Cat Cub. An attack. Let's throw down the marsh flats. Gonna summon Kotus. We are gonna go for the Raucous Theater so we can surveil. That's actually really good. We're gonna use the Anguished Unmaking to get rid of the Fangkeeper. And attack. We have our opponent down to 8 and our opponent scoops. Our very first win of our first game with Neriv. Kotus is a really great commander. Indestructible is powerful, but as I mentioned in my deck building for that specific commander, you really want other strategies on your battlefield outside of just Kotus, because if you lose Kotus, then you don't really have a lot of support and you just lose the game. Really good game, even though we didn't get to play our commander for the first game. Good game. Our second game is against Mono Blue and playing the new commander Tygam, Master Opportunist. This hand does have some ramp to it, so I'm going to keep this. We're going to put down this, put down the Chrome Mox, drop off the Twin Flame Tyrant, then we're going to cast the Solar Transformer. Well, we have 3 mana on turn 1. I'm going to keep this game in just to highlight how broken Chrome Mox is as a Magic card in this format. You go first with a Chrome Mox and some land and some other ramp. Like on our second turn, we're going to have 4 mana, so we can cast our commander. Good game. Our third game is against Cody Vociferous Codex. We do have Dark Ritual into a Black Market Connections on turn 1, so I am keeping this. This is really good. Cody is a pretty strong commander. You can't cast permanent spells, but you tap 4 and you get 5 mana out of it, and when you cast your next spell this turn, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile an instant or sorcery with lesser mana value. Until the end of the turn, you can pay that. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put each card exiled this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. So Cody is all about the spells, not about permanents. Some really powerful spells. I am going to get the Godless Shrine. We're going to pay 2 life. Cast Dark Ritual, and go for Black Market Connections. We're going to use all the modes because that's how we roll. We're going to cast Rising of the Day, which is going to give haste to all of our creatures. So let's hit him for 3. Okay, our opponent is going to put the Black Market Connections back into our hand. We're going to get a mountain. Cast Black Market again. Hit him again. I'm hoping on our turn we can cast Neriv and attack because of the Rising of the Day. We'll create a tread. We'll go all modes. Let's just go all out on this. We're going to summon Neriv. We're going to cast Swords to Plowshares on his commander, and we're going to swing in for a massive hit of damage. We're going to do 5 plus 6, 11 plus... Or, I'm sorry, 10 plus 6 plus 9. So we'll deal 19 damage to our opponent on this turn. There is no way he's coming back from that. So, really good game. Kind of shows the power of haste with Neriv. Neriv by himself was going to deal 10 damage before our opponent quit. Good game. This game is against a dragon deck. This hand does have Dark Ritual, so it does have some ramp. However, the other cards that we have are mostly blue or white and red. So I don't think we can keep this hand, even though I love the Dark Ritual. We do need black mana, but I am going to keep this and try it. We do have a haste enabler through Goro Goro, which is good. We need a swamp, though, or some sort of land that gives us black mana. That's going to be the key to whether or not we're competitive in this specific game or not. Okay, as an Elvish Mystic. Put down Goro Goro. He's going to search for his library for up to 2 basic forests and put 1 on the battlefield. I'm going to put down Impact Tremors. And I am going to use the Arid Mesa now, in case he has some sort of stifle effect because he does play blue. We're going to get the Raucous Theater. We're going to get the Shadowy Backstreet because it gives us black and white, and this will give us potentially the other white source. Velomachus is a great card, but not what we need right now. He has 5 mana. He has a Magmagnet Hellkite. We'll get a Swamp. However, we do get a stun counter on the Swamp, so that actually turned out to be pretty good for him. I'm gonna put down the Bloodstained Mire. Get the Raucous Theater. Blood Crypt is pretty good. Pass the turn. Summons his commander. Hits us for 4. I can't let his commander stay on the battlefield because he'll make duplicate dragons and we'll lose the game that way. So I'm going to attack with Goro Goro. Hoping he doesn't have any counter spells, because Neriv's going to be able to do a lot of damage here, potentially. We'll see. Opponent's looking for land. Opponent is seriously ramping. I wonder if he's going to attack us. He is. Wow. Okay. We're down to 14. Let's bring out Neriv. Hopefully. We're going to give our creatures haste. Swing in. We hit him for 8. I'm going to put down the Blood Crypt because there's really nothing else I can do for 1 mana. Let's see what our opponent can do. Our opponent casts Cyclonic Rift, which sends everything back to our hand. Gonna hit us for 5. However, I think a hello back is warranted here. We're gonna swing in for a lot of damage there. We're gonna do 12 damage to our opponent. I think our opponent was a little too aggressive for their own being. If they had stayed back a little bit, they probably would have had a better chance at survival for that, but Neriv is not a joke. If you can give Neriv haste, he's going to deal 8 damage to whatever crosses his path. So that's kind of the power of the commander. That was really good to highlight how that commander actually works. We won with just Goro and Neriv on the battlefield, basically. Next game is against Calyx, Destiny's Hand, so an enchantment deck. This hand does have Esper Sentinel, an Edict to get rid of Calyx. We're a little light on lands, but if we get one more, I think we can get there. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. We're gonna try this. Bring out the Esper Sentinel. Esper Sentinel's really good against enchantment decks. He picks our commander. I'm going to use the Shieldred's Edict to get rid of his Pilgrim to lose some of his ramp. And we're going to swing in with Esper Sentinel. Gonna seal away our Sentinel. Put down a land. Let's get some land that can give us black and white mana, like Godless Shrine. Gonna cast Lelia and attack in. Hit him for 3. And our opponent scoops. He must not have drawn his 4th land in order to cast his commander. On our turn, we can get card draw through Thunder of Unity or cast Wandering Emperor to get some tokens onto the battlefield. So even when he does get his commander out next turn, I don't think he's going to be able to win this. This kind of highlights you fall 1 land behind, that can cost you the whole game if you're dependent on creatures that are ramp or even artifacts sometimes. Good game. Okay, our opponent gets to go first again, like almost every game that we're playing. We do have Esper Sentinel, some ramp, removal spell. I'm going to keep this. We have been drawing Esper Sentinel quite a bit with this deck, which is interesting. I take back what I said. I am now going to have a turn 1 Blood Crypt because we have to get rid of Rangaland. We'll have a turn 2 Esper Sentinel. Hopefully we can ramp with the Arcane Signet and get out Esper Sentinel. opponent's going to do some faithless looting. Draw some cards and discard. Really good with Kroxa. Put down a mountain. Get our Arcane Signet out. And then get out Esper Sentinel. Opponent's going to cast Kroxa, causing us to discard a card. I'm going to drop the Plains. We're going to pay 2 life for the Sacred Foundry, get out our commander, Neriv. Going to attack. Opponent is going to cast Fury. Do 4 damage. He must have like a lightning bolt or something, I'm assuming. Oh, that's a clever move. He's going to have the Malakir Rebirth bring the Fury back and kill both of our creatures. Good move. I'm going to put down a Shadowy Backstreet so we can see what's on top. Chrome Mox really does not help us right here. So it's a shame we can't exile his creatures. Our Mardu Siegebreaker would be perfect, but we'll hold off for now. I'm going to Mortify the Fury. Our opponent, I think, is thinking about bringing out Kroxa. He is. Okay. I'm going to use the Blot Out on Kroxa to exile him. Just going to bring Kroxa out again. We are going to summon Neriv. Hopefully we can start hitting our opponent. What we really need is a haste-enabled creature, though, or we're going to lose in a battle. If it's Neriv versus Kroxa, that's not going to be good for us. Okay, he's going to exile our graveyard with the Bogart. I'm going to summon Adeline, which is really good with Neriv. We're going to attack. Opponent will block, but take 4. Opponent goes down to 11. We draw a removal spell. We don't, but I think we're in good shape. We summon Aurelia. We're going to attack. Opponent says, nice. Thanks. Opponent's gonna block Shieldred, but take a ton of damage. Aurelia by herself is going to deal 8 damage. Neriv does another 4. The token does additional 2 damage. That was a really good game. Kind of highlighted the power of Neriv. Neriv with any type of haste creatures can just turn the game around on a dime. Good game. Next game is against one of the other new commanders from Tarkir Dragonstorm, Zurgo, Thunder's Decree. This hand is meh. This hand is not great, but it is a little bit better, so we're going to keep this. Put down Windswept Heath. And Urgo is a 3 mana 2/4 with Mobilize 2, which means that when he attacks, he creates 2 1/1 tokens. Zurgo's other ability means that his tokens stay on the battlefield at the end of the combat, because a lot of the warrior tokens for Mobilize go away at the end of the turn. I'm going to get a Shadowy Backstreet for the Surveil. Shadow Spear really isn't going to help us in this matchup, so we're going to shuffle that down. We're going to put down a Mountain and pass. The fear of missing out, I'm going to Fatal Push that. Next, we're going to put down the Polluted Delta. Going to go for a... Right now, we're going to go for a Godless Shrine. We're going to cast Fable of the Mirror Breaker, get some value. I'm hoping he casts his commander this turn, so we can Swords to Plowshares it and attacking with the Goblin, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Can discard 2 cards here. We don't need both Black Market Connections and Phyrexian Arena. I'm going to discard that. And we're going to use Swords to Plowshares on Zurgo. Attack in with the Goblin token to get a treasure. Put down the Castle Embereth, and let's get out our commander Neriv. Heart of the Storm. If he does not remove Neriv this turn, we're going to be in pretty good shape. He could have a board wipe actually here. As a War Leader's Call and a Ruby Collector. It's us for 1. For turn, we're going to bring out the Mardu Siege Breaker, which has haste. I think I'm going to... yeah. We're going to swing in for a ton of damage. I'm going to use the Mardu Siege Breaker's ability to exile our commander. But then when we attack with the Mardu Siege Breaker, it will make a copy of Neriv attacking with haste, which means we're going to deal 8 damage from Neriv. We're going to gain tokens from the Goblin. If he doesn't block the Siege Breaker, that's an additional 8 damage. So our opponent is in a world of hurt because of our commander. Neriv is a really powerful commander. If he can stay on the battlefield with some haste creatures, your opponent just cannot survive. So really good game. Thank you, my friends, so much for watching my video featuring the new Tarkir Dragonstorm commander, Neriv, Heart of the Storm. Neriv is a lot of fun to play. I would put Neriv in probably the low B to high C tier. As far as power level goes, you do get to fight against a broad range of opponents, and I really like how Neriv can just turn around the game sometimes. It might look like you're going to lose or you're losing to your opponent, and suddenly you summon a hasty big creature who flies over the top and does 10 damage, 15 damage. You summon 15 rats that each can do 2 damage and have haste. Those types of tactics where you just completely turn around the game and you win on the spot is very rewarding and satisfying. I will say, just like any other heavily based creature deck, Neriv can sometimes lose to those types of decks that have multiple board wipes, control, lots of counterspells, those types of things. However, if you're focused on a fast strategy of hitting them early and often, you can overwhelm a lot of those types of decks and kill them before they even get a chance to do those types of things. The deck list is in the description below. Please don't forget to like. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to leave a comment below and tell me what you think about Neriv or Magic, or you have a request tied to a specific deck, or you want to tell me about your favorite type of taco. I don't really care. I just love interacting with the Magic community and hearing more of your thoughts. I appreciate your continued support, as I am a humble new YouTuber who's seeking slowly but very carefully to take over all of YouTube. Thank you so much for watching my video. Have a great day.